Hello everyone. Before going towards the exact learning, let me put my disclaimer. Please note that this presentation is solely made for education purpose and intended towards understanding the pathophysiology and treatment strategies involved in congestive heart failure only. Friends, the information available in this presentation is taken from personal experience and reference quoted at the end of presentation. Most importantly, the information is not the substitute of the advice and treatment by doctor, medical specialist or pharmacist. Therefore, author will not be liable for any discrepancy. Learning objectives of this presentation: as per PCI syllabus and requirement of curriculum, after successful completion of the session, students are able to define congestive heart failure, that is level 1 of education, that is knowledge as per Bloom's taxonomy. Secondly, they are able to understand the pathophysiology involved in progression of disease, that is level 2 of education, that is understanding. Thirdly, friends, students able to interpolate the mechanism of different classes of drugs along with their side effects and contraindication, level 3 of education, that is application of knowledge. Finally, they are able to correlate the pharmacology of drugs with existing pathophysiology, that is level 4 of education, that is analysis as per Bloom's taxonomy. Congestive heart failure is one of the progressive disorder in which contractility of cardiac muscle decreases, which results into reduced cardiac output and eventually causes increased metabolic demand of the tissues. Friends, overall pressure in the venous system is increases and therefore kidney will retain water and salt that result into edema, which further dilates the heart and therefore cardiac hypertrophy occurs. Friends, congestive heart failure is of two types, that is high cardiac output failure, which is rarely observed due to either hyperthyroidism, in which tachycardia elicits, as well as few disorders like anemia. Another type of cardiac heart failure is due to low cardiac output, in which metabolic demands of the tissues get increases, and it is more commonly observed in wide variety of patients. Symptoms of congestive heart failure: they are pulmonary and peripheral edema, dyspnea, hepatomegaly, cardiomegaly, reflex tachycardia, renal congestion, decreased exercise tolerance. Friends, now the goal of treatment. As far as treatment of congestive heart failure is concerned, the prime goal required, that is to restore performance of myocardial cells. Secondly, relief from congestion, reduction in progression of disease, and ultimately reducing the mortality rate as well as rate of hospitalization. Treatment of congestive heart failure. Friends, as already discussed in the goal of treatment, that the treatment of congestive heart failure is solely depend upon the improvement of myocardial performance. So, the first category for the congestive heart failure are the drugs with positive inotropic effect. These drugs are cardiac glycosides, phosphodiesterase inhibitors, and beta adrenergic agonist. Next category is without positive inotropic drugs. These drugs do not possess any positive inotropic effect. Such categories are diuretics, angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors, angiotensin receptor inhibitors, aldosterone antagonist, beta adrenergic antagonist, vasodilators, and lastly vasopressin receptor antagonist. Friends, first category is cardiac glycosides. Cardiac glycosides possesses non-sugar moiety, and due to these agents they improves the force of contraction via acting on peripheral blood vessels, and therefore these drug possesses a positive inotropic as well as chronotropic effect. Friends, these drugs obtained from the leaves of Digitalis lanata or Digitalis purpurea. The active moiety of these agents are digoxin as well as digitoxin. Cardiac glycosides, they improves the ventricular performance after digitalization, and therefore these agents are drug of choice for congestive low cardiac output failure. Now let's discuss the exact molecular mechanism of these cardiac glycosides. The drugs include in this category are digoxin, digitoxin as well as iovane. Friends, these agents bind irreversibly to sodium potassium ATPase and reduces its function, and therefore they causes increased sodium concentration intracellularly, which further exchanged by a sodium calcium exchanger. And friends, therefore it leads to the accumulation of calcium into the cytosol. Further, entry of calcium occurs through L type of calcium channel, which triggers the calcium into the cytosol. And finally friends, cardiac glycosides, they have a little effect on inhibition of enzyme, that is sarcoplasmic calcium ATPase into the cytosol, which causes reuptake of calcium into the sarcoplasmic reticulum. Thus, increased calcium into the cytoplasm improves the ventricular performance of the heart, and therefore it increases the cardiac output in failing heart. Few toxicity associated with these agents are extrasystole, visual disturbance, nausea along with vomiting. Interestingly friends, higher serum concentration of potassium inhibits digitalis binding to sodium potassium ATPase, and therefore hyperkalemia decreases digitalis toxicity. On the other hand, hypokalemia increases toxicity of cardiac glycosides, that is causes tachyarrhythmias due to potentiation of sodium potassium ATPase. Now comparison between digoxin as well as digitoxin. Friends, digoxin is used maximally up to 90% as compared to digitoxin, that is only 60%. Half-life of digoxin is 1.5 days, whereas digitoxin possesses half-life of 5 days. Action of digoxin starts after 20 minutes, whereas digitoxin action starts after 60 minutes. Plasma protein binding of digoxin is only 30%, whereas of digitoxin it is 60%. Few contraindication lies with digitoxin as well as digoxin is that hypokalemia, hypothyroidism, myocarditis as well as Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome. Now let's move on towards another category, that is phosphodiesterase inhibitors. Friends, drugs included in this category are enamrinone, milrinone, levosimendan as well as enoximone. These drugs are called as inodilators as they have dual function, that is they improve myocardial contractility along with additional vasodilatory effect. Friends, these drugs increases level of cyclic AMP via inhibition of enzyme phosphodiesterase 3 and therefore they causes vasodilation. This vasodilatory effect achieved by means of increased level of cyclic AMP, which causes formation of protein kinase A, which stimulate calcium channel, that is L type of calcium channel, leading to influx of calcium. Overall friends, calcium mediated calcium release is also stimulated, which further increases the cytosolic concentration of calcium, therefore improve the myocardial contractility of heart. These inodilators are administered via IV infusion in a loading dose, which is followed via maintenance dose. Friends, milrinone is more selective to enzyme phosphodiesterase 3 and possesses 10 times more potency as compared to enamrinone. Few side effects associated with these agents are thrombocytopenia, diarrhea, nausea, abdominal pain, liver damage, fever as well as arrhythmias. Now another category is beta adrenergic agonist. Friends, drugs included in this category are dopamine, dobutamine, dopaxamine as well as phenoldiazepam. Friends, these agents improves myocardial contractility via stimulation of beta 1 receptor. These drugs causes activation of enzyme adenylyl cyclase so that ATP will form cyclic AMP and finally protein kinase A will form, and this protein kinase A stimulate L type of calcium channel to release more and more calcium inside the myocardial cell. Finally friends, calcium mediated calcium release also occur via sarcoplasmic reticulum and therefore the increased cytosolic concentration of calcium increases, which improves the contractility of myocardium. Friends, these agents are given via intravenous route, and primarily these drugs are used in heart failure associated with decreased blood pressure. Due to few side effects like tachycardia, ectopic beats, nausea, vomiting as well as hypertension, generally their long-term management is avoided. Friends, now we are heading towards the another category of drugs, those do not possesses any positive inotropic effects. The category includes diuretics and angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. Under the category of diuretics, there are different type of diuretics like thiazide diuretics, loop diuretics, potassium sparing diuretics, etc. Out of which few diuretics I mentioned here like bumetanide, furosemide as well as hydrochlorothiazide. Dear students, as we all know that sodium ions contributes to the vascular resistance by increasing vessel stiffness, and therefore these diuretics initially causes depletion of these sodium ion concentration along with water excretion, and thus these drugs they have a better control as far as volume load is concerned, and therefore they decreases total peripheral resistance, along with they improve cardiac performance. Ultimately friends, diuretics they are used as long term therapy as far as peripheral edema is concerned. Now in the same context, another category with respect to these agents, this is angiotensin converting enzyme inhibitors. The drugs include captopril, enalapril as well as lisinopril and many more. Friends, when renal perfusion is less due to low cardiac output failure, this releases renin from juxtaglomerular cells of kidney. This renin is a aspartate protease constitute of 340 amino acids. Renin forms angiotensin 1, which is a decapeptide, and via enzyme angiotensin converting enzyme it forms octapeptide that is called as angiotensin 2. This angiotensin 2 will work on aldosterone receptor, particularly AT1, and causes aldosterone mediated biological effect in the form of venoconstriction, arteriolar constriction, aldosterone secretion as well as cardiac remodeling via secretion of aldosterone from adrenal cortex. Now this is the normal phenomena. These drugs, ACE inhibitors, they inhibit this enzyme called as angiotensin converting enzyme, and when this enzyme is inhibited, the total pathway has been shut down. Friends, importantly here, when this pathway shut down, there is total decrease in preload, afterload, as well as these drugs are involved in the management of edema along with expansion of size of heart, that is cardiac remodeling. Further friends, in the same pathway here the bradykinin is also degraded by means of same enzyme, that is angiotensin converting enzyme. So when AC inhibitors are used, this upregulate or increases the level of bradykinin, and therefore few side effects associated with such categories are dry cough, hypotension as well as renal failure. Further, as far as these diuretics are concerned, few adverse effects associated with these agents like monitoring of serum ions, uric acid levels along with lipid levels. Now, in continuation, the another category is angiotensin receptor inhibitors. Friends, drugs included in these categories are losartan, candesartan, telmisartan, irbesartan, olmesartan as well as iprosartan. Friends, angiotensin 2 will act on G protein coupled receptor present on the cell membrane, that is AT1 receptor. When this receptor get activated, GDP is replaced with GTP, where it activates an enzyme phospholipase C. Phospholipase C, when activated, give rise to inositol triphosphate along with diacyl glycerol. Friends, after the whole cascade, protein kinase C is stimulated, which causes activation of L type of calcium channel and therefore brings calcium inside the cytosol. Therefore, calcium mediated calcium release also occur during such cascade. Ultimately, friends, there is increased level of calcium observed during such pharmacological mechanism of action. Here, angiotensin 2, due to this pharmacology, leads to constriction of blood vessels, which can lead to increased blood pressure. Friends, therefore, these blockers, they lowers the blood pressure associated with congestive heart failure by inhibition of AT1 receptor in a competitive manner. Therefore, they decreases the workload of heart and improves the cardiac performance. Friends, losartan is a competitive inverse antagonist of AT1 receptor, possesses a special advantage that these category, they do not have any effect on the bradykinin pathway as seen with the ACE inhibitor. So, side effect of ACE inhibitor like dry cough is avoided by using such type of drugs. Further, few adverse effects associated with such categories are hypotension, hyperkalemia, renal impairment along with some diarrhea, abdominal pain as well as dizziness. Friends, these drugs are contraindicated in pregnancy and they possesses a wide variety of therapeutic effect like they used in hypertension, congestive heart failure, myocardial infarction as well as nephrogenic diabetes. Now moving towards another category, that is aldosterone antagonist. Friends, due to less cardiac output or poor renal perfusion, activation of renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system occurs, which releases aldosterone from the outermost layer of adrenal cortex, that is zona glomerulosa. Friends, it is a mineral corticoid hormone which acts on principal cells of collecting ducts and forms aldosterone receptor complex, which attaches to DNA and therefore initiates the process of translation, transcription and production of a protein, that is aldosterone induced protein. This aldosterone induced protein initiates wide variety of action of aldosterone, where it initiates synthesis of silent sodium channel along with sodium pump, as well as it increases the activity of sodium potassium ATPase pump. And therefore friends, this whole mechanism leads to increased sodium reabsorption along with potassium secretion. Further, aldosterone produces fibrosis in heart as well, and therefore hypokalemia increases the risk of arrhythmia too here. Friends, drugs included in this category are spironolactone, canrenone as well as eplerenone. These drugs inhibits aldosterone receptor complex and promote sodium excretion along with water loss. Therefore friends, these drug improves the myocardial performance. Few side effects associated with these drugs are gynecomastia, hyperkalemia, delayed healing in peptic ulcer, GIT disturbance as well as skin rashes. Friends, spironolactone is a weak diuretic agent and they are used like a add-on therapy to ACE inhibitors. And one of the active metabolite of spironolactone, that is canrenone, is also called as potassium saving diuretics and is more potent as compared to spironolactone. And eplerenone, it works against resistant hypertension due to elevated aldosterone. Friends, another rare category that is used in congestive heart failure, that is beta adrenergic antagonists. These drugs are bisoprolol, carvedilol as well as metoprolol. Friends, generally these drugs are contraindicated in congestive heart failure. Now coming towards their mechanism of action, these beta blockers, they act on beta 1 receptor and they antagonize the effect of beta 1, leads to the shunt down of whole pathway, that is cyclic AMP protein kinase A effect on the myocardial cell. These drugs, they are rarely used as because they possesses few adverse effects such as tachycardia, ectopic beats, nausea, vomiting along with hypertension. Friends, these drugs, they improve ventricular function and prolong survival. Thus, they have a better role against cardiac hypertrophy due to inhibition of mitogenic activity of noradrenaline along with epinephrine. But due to many side effects, this category is contraindicated. Now, moving ahead towards another category, that is vasodilators. Friends, examples of vasodilators include sodium nitroprusside, isosorbide dinitrate, nitroglycerin, hydralazine along with nasiritide. Friends, these vasodilators, they decreases preload as well as total peripheral resistance by binding to the nitrate receptor. Upon stimulation of nitrate receptor in vascular smooth muscle, these drugs stimulate enzyme guanylyl cyclase, which converts GTP into cyclic GMP. Interestingly friends, cyclic GMP causes inhibition of calcium influx via L type of calcium channel. Secondly, it causes inhibition of calcium from sarcoplasmic reticulum 2. And finally, it causes dephosphorylation of myosin light chain phosphate to myosin light chain. All these three mechanisms leads to smooth muscle relaxation, which causes reduction into the left ventricular pressure and favors redistribution of coronary blood flow. That is, they decreases myocardial wall tension and reduces afterload too. Friends, sodium nitroprusside in this category, it acts on arteries as well as on veins. It is also called as nitrovasodilator, as it releases nitric oxide upon intravenous administration within 30 seconds, and this effect will be disappear after 10 minutes. Friends, metabolite of sodium nitroprusside, that is thiocyanate, it inhibit iodide uptake and therefore it is associated with few thyroid disorders too. This is also helpful in case of cyanide poisoning. Another vasodilator, friends, hydralazine, it vasodilate arteries only. Nitroglycerin is one of the long acting vasodilators and it prevent remodeling of cardiac tissue. Finally, friends, nasiritide, it is one of the new vasodilator which is the recombinant form of human B-type natriuretic peptide, which increases cyclic GMP in smooth muscle and reduces tone of arteries and veins. This drug also promotes natriuresis, and with shorter half-life of about 18 minutes, this drug acts as a very potent agent. However, few side effects associated with these category are palpitation, flushing of face, dizziness as well as headache. Friends, few drugs like amyl nitrate or sodium nitrate, they work against cyanide poisoning too. So they are very good drug as far as poisoning cases are. Now coming towards the last treatment for congestive heart failure, that is vasopressin receptor antagonist. Friends, vasopressin is also called as antidiuretic hormone. It is synthesized from supraoptic nuclei of hypothalamus and stored into posterior pituitary. Friends, vasopressin is a non-peptide hormone and is releases in response to increased osmolarity and to balance circulation of blood volume. It acts on V1A receptor where it promotes inositol triphosphate as well as diacyl glycerol cascade, and therefore it causes vasoconstriction. Further, by acting on V2 receptor via cyclic AMP protein kinase A pathway, it causes increased water permeability along with retention of water, which increases venous return and ultimately cardiac filling. Friends, the drugs included in this category are conivaptan, tolvaptan and many more. These drugs, they inhibit these receptors so that they decreases the volume load into the body, and therefore it causes performance of cardiac cell in a optimum way. Friends, few side effects associated with this category is postural hypotension, hypokalemia, polydipsia along with polyuria. Test for congestive heart failure. Friends, the diagnosis of congestive heart failure is based upon the knowledge of individual medical history, careful physical examination and selected lab test. It can be a medical emergency. Therefore, initially airway circulation, breathing is the first treatment approach towards congestive heart failure. Then one blood test, that is N-terminal pro B-type natriuretic peptide test is recommended by doctors. Friends, B-type natriuretic peptide is located in ventricles and releases when muscles overload, due to which shortness of breath occur, and therefore this blood test is an identification test for the congestive heart failure. Now another test is chest X-ray or chest radiography, where it indicates the size of heart as well as volume of fluid present in lungs. Further, electrocardiogram, which can assess the rhythm of heart rate, and indirectly size of ventricles and blood flow to the heart. Another test is echocardiography or ultrasound. It assesses the anatomy and function of heart, or to measure the ejection fraction of each heartbeat. Then another test is exercise stress test. Friends, this test is required to determine how the heart responds normally to the stress of exercise. Under this test, depending upon the clinical situation, patient hooked up in treadmill and asked to walk slowly. Then speed will be adjusted and heart rate, rhythm, breath and blood pressure is monitored during the protocol. Now another is magnetic resonance imaging, CT scan. Friends, under this test, structure of heart, muscle, walls or chambers is assessed by means of this MRI. Then coronary angiogram determines the coronary artery disease associated with the heart failure. And finally friend, few more tests like myocardial biopsy, measurement of serum electrolytes, hyponatremia as well as hypomagnesemia is also assessed by such test. They are perform renal function biomarkers also, like blood urea nitrogen test. So these are overall tests for the congestive heart failure which is now as far as clinical approach is concerned, in spite the high prevalence of congestive heart failure, it is one of the clinical disorder with poor diagnosis analysis. Physical activity may cause fatigue, palpitation and shortness of breath also. So this can be managed by lifestyle changes and careful monitoring. According to European Society of Cardiology, it is one of the leading cause of death for men as well as for women. Currently, approximately 26 million people worldwide living with congestive heart failure, and out of which 17 to 45% of patients admitted to hospital and die within a year. One person dies every 37 seconds due to heart diseases. Therefore friends, the choice of drug depends upon the severity of left ventricular systolic dysfunction along with volume status. A standard therapy successful in early stages, but at advanced stages it requires immediate hospitalization. So initially few physical activities may cause fatigue, palpitation as well as shortness of breath, and this can be managed by lifestyle changes along with careful monitoring. Physical examination as well as diagnostic test is immediately required, particularly with the B-type natriuretic peptide. Further friend, few first line agents like AC inhibitors are given, but if adverse effect observed, they are immediately stopped and then switch over towards the angiotensin receptor blockers. They have an additional advantage that those drugs, they do not cause any cough and therefore they provide mortality and morbidity benefits in patient. Both this category is used against systolic heart failure. Again, diuretics, they control the symptoms of fluid retention. That is, volume overload is controlled by means of these diuretics, and they can be used for longer period of time also. And therefore, they maintain euvolemia for more time. Friends, respiratory failure, if associated with congestive heart failure patient, then repositioning of patient is required immediately along with ventilatory support. Vasodilators, they are very good agents and therefore they are given in emergencies. They relieves dyspnea and they should be given when patient intolerant to ACE inhibitor or angiotensin receptor blocker. Friends, few positive inotropes or sympathomimetics are also used to reduce mortality and control the ventricular rate. Thank you very much, friends. I hope you understand the basic learning of congestive heart failure and its treatment approach. Few references I have taken is shown over here, and if you like the video, then do like, subscribe, share and comment. Thank you very much for patience hearing.